YouTube. Decided to make a video in my apartment today. My roommate is at work, so I have the crib to myself. But this is my kitchen. In case y'all niggas want to know what it looks like, since I'm in it. But I want to talk about something that has been on my mind since this morning, which is talking about anger and why certain parts of the day, right, you may feel angry and you may feel pissed off. You know, there are days throughout my week, the beginning, the end, the middle of the week, where I feel like I'm just so freaking pissed and I'm so mad, not at myself, but certain people in my life have done me wrong, put me in situations that I'm in right now, and overall just very negative energy that has clouded my moods, you know. For those of you that don't know, you know, coming from my last place that I lived at, for a good 15 years, it's been on and off, just unhappiness, sadness, anger, jealousy, greed, a whole bunch of negative emotions. And this may sound very sad to say, but I really don't know what it feels like to be happy. I don't know what happiness is. I do know that it isn't money or materialistic things, but I do know it is feeling either good about yourself or making others feel good for you. And maybe I need to go out every few often, or maybe I just need to express myself in different ways. I've been thinking about trying to go outside more, get some sunlight, but a lot of people have a lot of demons inside, and on a day-to-day basis, it's a battle getting up in the morning. It's a battle going through the day. You know, there's only 24 hours in a day, and you could only do so much. You know, and a lot of my anger is based on my adolescent years. You know, being a teenager is, or when I was a teenager, was like signing up for the army. You know, it was something that I really don't have any fond memories of having. Sure, every blue moon I would, you know, be happy, but as far as like actual long periods of time being happy, it was very, very non-existent. And there are days where now that I'm in my 20s, or that I have been for the past, I say 2, almost 3 years, is I don't have to be around people I don't like. You know, I don't have to put on this fucking mask for people. Like, I could just tell how I feel and I don't really care how the next person feels, because at the end of the day, you have to find what you really want to do or be in life. And you know, with bullying, racism, neglect, you know, with all these things, these are the reasons why uh, I'm so upset, angry. I don't want to talk to people, and it's made me develop this urge not to really even like people, you know. And it wasn't always like this, but just due to life circumstances, it's one thing that I have to tell myself every time I get out my door is, you know, people are not gonna like me, so let me not say anything and just be about my business, you know. And this is just a mantra of, you know, being just a man. You can't show yourself to people like that, you know. You can't expect people to always get what you're trying to say, you know. There are people who will use your strengths and weaknesses against you, and it's happened to me more than enough times, and it's happened to the point where I don't really want to get into a lot of the things that happen to me. Um, you know, it it's very uneasy sometimes. You know, like it's not that I hate people. It's just I hate how people see me, and within an instant, I could tell a lot of people want to get me in trouble and want to put me in a situation where I can't get out of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's a whole lot of reason. There's a lot of reason to why I don't deal with, you know, a lot of women, because I don't want to be called the police on. I don't want to like make myself look like a stalker. I don't want any of that shit, because uh, women can set you up even worse. But nevertheless, like, you know, that's why I just keep to myself and I go about my business. But I don't like to be angry all the time, to be honest with you, man. Like, I just like to, you know, go through my day without really any problems, man. Cause I've heard this saying, you're not gonna look for trouble until you find it. And I've been keeping a clear sight of just negative energy. You know, I don't fuck with that shit, because I don't go looking for it. So if you don't go looking for shit, you really have nothing to worry about. And in my present life now, right, I I still have some demons that I'm battling from my past. You know, being called, you know, a whole lot of things: rejection, neglection, uh, harassment. You know, all sorts of things, man. Like, you know, accusations at one point, and it's all of these things have, you know, really damaged my self-esteem, man. Like, for people that have good lives, for people that have have had positive experiences with people in life, they're the ones that, you know, really don't have a lot of problems, to be very honest with you. These are the people that most likely can make friends easier, can go anywhere, they can communicate with you, you know. These people are damn near normal. It's the people that, in my opinion, that have been fucked over a lot, that have been harassed, you know, gang stalked, all of that shit. Uh, I was gonna say assaulted, but I could even say that has happened to me. You know, all of these things, man, like that happen to people. It's very hard for them to really go wake up in the morning and continue a life, man. Like, it's very hard. You can't do a lot of the things you want to do. You know, it might take some anger management. It might take some type of therapy. You know, if that works. But at the end of the day, it's like you can only help yourself, man. You know, if I had a therapist to talk to him about my problems, you know, I'm not saying this to be mean, but I really don't think he can relate, you know, because these are things that I've went through. These are things that have happened to my black ass. These are things that if you were in my size 11.5 shoes, you might understand if you get what I'm talking about. And so that's why every experience that somebody has in life is different. We don't all have the same experiences. We may have similar experiences, but you know, you be the judge. Is somebody gonna have an identical life as you, and you can relate to every single incident or problem that has happened in life? You may have similar instances, but you know, at the end of the day, you're your own person, you know. And I can explain it the best way I can to somebody like a therapist or a guidance counselor, but at the end of the day, man, like, we all know they're just getting a paycheck for this shit, man. And everybody's the worst critic, you know. But yeah, YouTube. Sometimes I really wonder why my life is what it is. But I have to keep telling myself that life is just unfair, you know. Life is unfair, and it just is what it is. And don't be surprised why some people act a certain way, you know. The reason why I am who I am today and the way I act who I am today is because of situations that have happened in my life from my past, you know. And if these situations didn't happen, I probably would be a more happier person. I would probably want more friends. I would be more vocal about expressing myself. But since some of my insecurities and some of my instances that have happened in my past, it is very, very difficult sometimes to express what I'm feeling. Because at the end of the day, uh, you can only gain so much people to actually care about you, especially as a man, as a black man, you know, we all know when niggas like people don't really give a fuck about us, man. Like, and I'm not expecting people to, I just want to put my story out there regardless, you know. If people gravitate towards it, uh, then I have somewhat of relatability. If people don't like it or people don't gravitate towards it, you know, I don't know what to say, you know. But like I said, I try not to be angry all the time. It's just something that if I wake up and I feel a certain type of way, you know, uh, I don't want people to think that I'm extremely aggressive. You know, I'm just a regular dude, man. Like a regular guy that has had a lot of bad things happen in his life, and uh, people shouldn't be surprised, how I act and how I articulate myself, you know, and I know there's a few ways and a few strategies that can take my mind off of the negative things, like, you know, this might be, the stereotypical uh, answer, but playing video games, I don't always do that nowadays. I try to read more. Uh, Sometimes I like to draw. If I have something in my mind that I want to write down on a piece of paper, and sometimes I make videos. And these few methods that I have to take away my anger sometimes works. You know, they sometimes uh, give me some type of ease away from the stress and the everyday mundane average life that we're accustomed to in this Western civilization, in this Western society, you know, and you know, uh, it's very common for a man to be angry at times. You know, not saying it doesn't happen to you know to people, but man, I try not to take it out on people. It just may happen to be so that I just don't want to talk to people, and I don't want to bother anybody because, like I said in my previous, I think my video from either last year or a couple months back, if somebody were to really piss me off, then obviously something bad is going to happen. And to give people a warning and to give people a caution to not piss me off, I would recommend that person to, you know, at least think twice before you're gonna attempt to do something. Because if it happens, man. You know, like with anger. If my anger is to the point where somebody's causing bodily harm to me on purpose, you know, hey man, it's fair game. But you know, it's it's natural human emotion. You know, sometimes I may feel angry for no reason. I don't know what it is, and sometimes I may just feel like I'm angry, but I don't need to show it to people. And sometimes I may be angry and I want to do something to somebody, but I know in my head the scenario might not end up in a way that I'm gonna live scot free. You know, and so guys, be aware, man. Like anger, it does happen to people. Some people have very uh, challenging days that they have to go through, and some people are angry, and it's like a fuse that cannot be set off. You know, some people may be angry just for a few hours. You know, some people may be angry for long periods of time. And one thing about me is, I never forget shit that has happened to me. You know, I remember even as a child, people doing me wrong. You know, I know those exact same people. You know, I know where they live, I know what they do. So if I really wanted to, I could do something to them. But, you know, there's some things that I have to tell myself to just let it go. Let it go, move on, and try to, you know, forget about that person and that situation. And sometimes it's not easy, man. It's really not easy to just forget about traumatic events, to just forget about harassment, neglect, to forget about 15 years of bullshit, of just abuse and rejection, you know, but you know, like I keep saying, I have to tell myself this, you know, it's just life. And life is a bitch, you know. But yeah, man, I wanted to do something different for this video and just talk to you guys from a perspective that I think is completely relatable. Anger, you know, how to cope with it, how to recognize it, what to do if it happens to you, you know, all of that stuff. But I appreciate the time, and I'm gonna go lie down, probably read a book or something, but I'm out.